You're about to generate $30,000 per month every single month into your business, into your life. And more than this, you're going to do it effortlessly, you're going to do it aligned, you're going to feel good in the process and have energy. This is the moment that everything changes. And I do not say this lightly. I've seen it too many times in my own life. I've seen it in my clients' lives too. By the way, my name is Pete Scott. I'm a sales transformation expert. I specialize in helping you to transform your sales without all the sales techniques, going deeper to who you truly are. So you're in the right place. If you feel that, I've got to sell my product, my service, but I hate selling, this is what's going to change it for you, because it is not about tactics. I'm going to talk about this in another video, so make sure you've hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. We're told that to make more money, we need all these different strategies, these tactics, and all of those are the icing on the cake, but they are not the cake itself. In order for you to generate that $30,000 per month, and by the way, write it in the comment. Let me know if you're going to be generating this $30,000 per month. You must sell from who you are on the deepest level, because any deviation from who you are now living a fake version of yourself. Stay with me on this. And because you're living a fake version of yourself, you start to get pain, because God, the universe, whatever you believe, doesn't give a shit about how hard you work. If you're working 100 hours per week, but you're working out of alignment from who you fundamentally are, that's why this pain shows up as client objections, clients ghosting you, not earning the money in your business. Meanwhile, what you're rewarded for in this universe is being you. And this is exactly why you can work every hour that God sends and still wonder why the money is not coming into your world. Meanwhile, you have a friend who seems to effortlessly make money working a few hours per week, and it's almost like they land on luck again and again and again. And you start to compare yourself to them. And we know comparison is the thief of joy. And whether you like your friend or you don't, all that matters is that your friend, I guarantee you, consciously or unconsciously or on a deeper level spiritually, they are simply being who they are meant to be in this lifetime. We all have agreed paths before we come here. This is what I believe, and we have lessons that we need to learn. But if we continue to force and to push and we hold on to the trauma that making money is difficult, that we've got to people please every single one of our clients, we're going to be slowly giving away more and more of ourselves, and eventually we forget who we are because we've suppressed the real self into the shadow, and there's no integration anymore. We feel like a puppet, and we're not even in control of our movements, of who we are on a day-to-day basis. Our clients become our boss, the tax man becomes our boss, and we feel that we are reacting through life instead of responding to life. So how does this all relate back to you generating $30,000 per month? What we need to do is understand it comes from a place of surrender, not forcing. You are not being punished right now. The money not coming into your account is not God saying you're not good enough, you're not worthy. You are being protected and you are being prepared. And the reason why the door is not opening to everything that you've wanted now is because if it did open, then unfortunately you would mess it up because you're not ready and you're asking from the wrong intention. Does this make sense? I know this because this was my life. I was able to earn $50,000 to £100,000 per month. That's what my business was doing. My accountant called me and said, Pete, you will be a cash millionaire after tax by the end of the year. By the end of that year, instead of being a cash millionaire, I had £2,000 left in my account. I'd imploded my entire business. Why? Because I felt that to make the money, everything fell on my shoulders. That I had to push, I had to force, I had to convince, and it never ended. And it left me full of anxiety. It gave me panic attacks. Whatever staff I took on always turned out to be a headache, and we lost money left, right, and center. I asked, what is the strategy? What tactics do we need to do? And this was my day-to-day thinking. And it never worked because the right strategy when you're out of flow will never ever work. But any strategy when you're in flow and you're truly being you, somehow is going to work in your favor. And this is the essence of all of it. I knew during the time that my business was making money, I knew that I identify as a successful person, but the way I was making money was completely off. So after imploding it, I then said, right, I'm going to focus on me. And I spent the next 3 years completely scaling back, focusing on who do I need to become. But then the most interesting thing of all happened. I started to realize I don't need to become anything new. I need to unbecome all the bullshit that I've layered on. Perhaps you're addicted to people pleasing. You feel that in order to get your validation, your safety is pleasing everybody else. Perhaps you are an overachiever, that in order to feel good in this world, you have to constantly overachieve. Perhaps you procrastinate all the time. All of these are not the cause. They are the symptom that you are living outside of who you truly are, and they are layers that we put on top while we suppress the real self into the shadows. We must go deep and say, let me breathe. The real me doesn't struggle. There is abundance everywhere. Now, I'm not going to get into bigger worldly issues. I know that most people in the world don't have running water and they don't have food in their belly. I'm not here to talk about that right now, although that is a bigger issue. I'm here to talk about you, because the best way for you to help others is to make sure that you are okay. What we must do is say, let me breathe into this. Let me stop chasing for the money. Money is a relationship. Now, if you talked to your best friend the way you talk about money, would your best friend stick around? And the answer is probably not. I learned this the hard way when I had loads of debt. Even though the business was making money, my debts were going up and up, and I was talking bad about money every day, and then I wasn't checking in on it. And I heard, this wasn't my idea, I heard someone say, look, spiritually, if you want to be in tune with money, you got to check your bank account every single morning. So I started to check my account every single morning, and no matter what was in the account or not in the account, I said thank you, because if I wasn't making money, that was a great lesson. If I was making money, well, that was a great lesson of what I need to do to continue. It started to come back to this, I will only make money from flow. And once we lean into that and we trust ourselves on the deepest level and trust a higher power, once you trust that, then the doors will start to open up for you. And the coolest thing of all is that I believe that we all have something, you'll know what it is, we all have something of real value that we can give to the world. And that real value, there will be people that it solves a specific problem for and creates a transformation in their life. So then you can say, okay, for me to generate this $30,000 per month, it is no longer from a place of force, it's now from a place of connecting with myself. Stop pushing, start connecting with who you are. And then from this point you say, okay, what is the biggest transformation I can create in the life of my market? Because remember, small change pays small, but the bigger transformation you can create in the eyes of your market, the more you'll be rewarded for it. And we now live in a world where I believe that we're becoming more and more intuitive. We're not buying because somebody has the best offer. We're buying because we trust the individual who is making that offer. And this is because we don't buy into products, we buy into people's energy. So I only need to look back a couple of years. You can check back on my YouTube videos. I go back 3 years and my videos, I felt like I was shouting at the screen. And I was, because I was forcing everything to work, because my business was mostly from a place of frustration, not a place of flow. And then I learned I don't need to do this anymore. I'd much rather just feel good and enjoy this amazing work that I get to do. Now, my thing is sales transformation. It doesn't sound too exciting. And the funny thing is that last year, I went through a big phase of, God, if you want me to do something completely different, I'll do something different. You want me to be a dog walker? I'll be a dog walker. You want me to sell ice cream? I'll sell ice cream. But the message came through loud and clear. It's like, no, Pete, actually, you're on point with what you're doing, but the energy of what you're doing has to come from you, has to come from, for me, it's not even from me. Everything goes back to God. But it was at the time, going back a few years, it was all coming from this place of, I've got to make this happen. So ask yourself, what are you frustrated about in your business? And what are you faking right now? Because I don't believe the real you wants you to struggle. I don't believe that the real you will say that you don't have confidence. I don't believe that the real you, when you're in tune and in flow, will feel like this is so difficult. I'm not saying it's easy, but it doesn't need to be complicated. It doesn't need to feel like this daily push just for you to make a bit of money. Ask yourself, with the skills that I have and the mind that I have, because you're paid for your mind more than you are the work that you do. I talk about this in other videos, so if you've not hit the subscribe button yet, you can do so now. But with the skills that I have, What's the biggest transformation that I can create in the life of a specific market? I can truly create change for them. And like I say, my thing is sales energetics, is helping you to be you on the deepest level. And I love showing up and talking about it. I'm thankful to God every single day. I'm thankful for you being here. But my question is, what is your thing? Because that $30,000 a month, it's not difficult. It's not easy, but it's not complicated. And you can have clients that are paying you $5,000. You only need 6 clients on board per month. That's like 1 to 2 sales per week. But again, do not worry about the strategy now. Focus on who you are, not who you're becoming, because that's too much pressure, but who you truly are already, because that is what the universe will reward you for. All right, thank you for hanging out with me today. And let me know what's going on in your world below. What transformation do you want to provide? Who is the real you? Have you been holding back on it? Have you been abandoning that real you? Maybe the real you is to have more fun. Maybe the real you is to do YouTube. Nobody knows you better than you. But I'm going to be reading all the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.